Fantastic Four First Steps is officially in theaters, and I saw it, and to put it quite frankly, it was fantastic. That's really the only way I can put it. So we're going to go into a spoiler review of the movie. So if you haven't seen it yet, you plan on seeing it, because today is officially the first day it came out, click off the video now. So what is going on, guys? It is GNR Collectibles back here today with another movie review. Gonna try to get a toy hunt video for you guys this weekend. We'll see what we can do. I'm gonna be going to an Ollie's, Walmart, and Target on Saturday. So I'll try to get some footage of some things. Hopefully, I heard Ollie's is actually getting a lot of new WWE Elites in right now, so that's gonna be pretty cool to go try and find. Either way, let's get into it, man. And again, final warning, click off the video right now if you do not want to be spoiled. I promise you. Look how cool this shirt is, by the way, Walmart.com. Regardless, let's get into it. So I'll tell you right now, off the bat, this movie, I don't want to use the word fantastic too much because that's like a meme going on right now, but this movie's incredible. This movie is absolutely great. Easily the best Fantastic Four movie ever made. I know the bar is set really low for that. I get it. Of course, a lot of the other Fox Fantastic Four movies, they just were not good. I mean, they're awful, right? The bar is low. But I'll tell you right now, this movie is awesome. And we now have the plot, at least maybe a subplot at least, of Avengers Doomsday. And I cannot wait. So either way, let's start it out. The movie opens up with Sue and Reed actually finding out that she's pregnant. The first scene of the movie is her taking a pregnancy test in their bathroom at their Future Foundation Baxter building. She's pregnant, right? And that's actually in the trailer. A lot of the trailer, I will tell you, if you've watched the trailers, a lot of the stuff in the trailer actually comes from like the first 15 minutes of this film, right? And they find out they're pregnant, right? And they go to a special report from ABC. And I'll tell you, the setting of this movie is very good. It's taking place in the 1960s in Earth 838, I believe. So this movie is not set in the MCU Earth. So keep that in mind. This movie is set in a completely different universe, in a complete different time. Although I will tell you, why is it set in the 60s? Well, it's set in the 60s, obviously, because that's when they originated, for one. But two, in MCU time, it is actually current day. So, of course, this movie actually takes place in the 60s, but in MCU timeline, it is in current day. So it's weird to understand that, but just know in current MCU world time, it's actually current day MCU. So when they eventually jump ship to the Earth, was it Earth 199? I don't know the exact Earth the MCU is, or I don't remember. I honestly don't remember, but whenever they jump ship to the MCU Earth, which it will happen, I'll tell you how it's going to happen later in the video when we get to the post-credit scene. But, yeah. So keep that in mind. The setting was awesome. I loved the futuristic past setting. It was great. The cast is great. Everyone played their role, like Vanessa Kirby, Pedro Pascal, the guy who played Human Torch, I forget his name, Joseph Quinn, yeah, and then, of course, the guy who played The Thing. All great. Absolutely great across the board. Chemistry off the charts. Insanely good. With how many characters in this movie, you would think that the pacing and, getting all the characters in at once would be trouble, but it was actually not. It flowed really well. Like the 2 hours, this movie is 2 hours on the dot. It was a quick and breezy 2 hours. So either way, basically, the plot of the film is this. Sue is pregnant, obviously, with Franklin Richards. And what happens, the Silver Surfer, again, another amazing character. The Silver Surfer, the woman who played the Silver Surfer, was awesome. Originally, when they first announced she was a woman, I know this is probably controversial, but I'm going to say it anyways. When they announced her as a woman at first, the Silver Surfer, because obviously he's typically a man, I had some doubts. I did. I was like, this is not going to work. This is not going to work. I don't know why they're changing him to a girl, but whatever. But she actually did a very good job. The woman who played the Silver Surfer did a very, very good job. And her and Johnny, or the Human Torch, actually share a lot of time on screen together, because a plot point of this movie was he was decrypting her language, and he thought that she was hot. He basically tried to hit on her and flirt with her the entire movie. That was basically his role in the movie, right? The Thing actually takes a backseat role in this movie. He's there. He's not really in a major plot point, though. The only plot point that he gets particularly is he has a love interest, but it really doesn't go anywhere. Like, he's just there to see her and just shows up to like her work and things like that. He actually doesn't really have too much of an impact on this film at all, which is kind of crazy because he's a fan favorite. This movie is really about Mr. Fantastic and Invisible Woman and the birth of their son, Franklin Richards. So what happens is Galactus wants Franklin Richards. He wants their son. Why does he want their son? Because according to Galactus, and again, Galactus, a very good character. I loved Galactus in this film. And I hope we see a lot more Galactus. We better see a lot more Galactus. I hope this is not the last time we see Galactus on screen, because holy airball. So hopefully we see him again sometime down the line, maybe an Avengers film, something, right? But why he wants Franklin Richards is to, quite frankly, eat him. He gives the Fantastic Four an ultimatum. He said, if you give me your son, which this is crazy to even say out loud, but this is the plot of the film. If you give me your son so I can eat him, this is truthfully what it is, I will save your world. Now, why does he want to eat Franklin Richards? Again, sounds super weird, but why does he want to eat Franklin Richards? Well, Franklin Richards is super godlike. And this is a plot point before he was born in the film. Reed Richards was trying to figure out if the baby in the womb was going to be super powerful, have superpowers. And they couldn't figure it out. That was one thing they kept on trying to figure out before he was born in the film, is if he was going to have superpowers. They thought that that wasn't going to happen. But, of course, with the DNA, they go up into space. It all, mutates and things like that. His DNA was mutated. He's basically a god. Basically, he has the powers of a god. So I am very interested to see where Franklin Richards goes in the MCU. And we know what's going to happen next to him. And I'll tell you what happens later in this video. But, so what happens? Of course, they say, no, you're not eating my son. Which, they come back down to Earth. So they go up to space, which I thought the space sequence was very good, by the way. Because she has to give birth. So what happens is Galactus actually causes Sue to actually, start labor. He glows his eyes, and she starts going to labor, right then and there. So what they do is they get her in the ship in space, and they try to storm off and go back home. There's a big fight sequence with the Silver Surfer trying to chase them down. They actually avoid that, and she's giving birth at the same time in space. And yeah, so they return back to home. There's a press conference. So just imagine a current day press conference with a bunch of media, cameras flashing, things like that. And they say, did you beat Galactus? And they said no. And they say, well, we tried to negotiate with Galactus. He wants our son, and we ain't letting that happen. So what happens in the final act of the film, or I guess the middle-ish act of the film to the last act of the film, the entire city of New York, which I believe this is New York, just back in time, but futuristic, they turn against the Fantastic Four. They turn against the Fantastic Four. They're saying, why are you not giving him your son to save the entire world? But they devise a plan. They bring, and here's the final fight scene, they bring Galactus to Earth, They fight him here. In the process of fighting Galactus, they trap him in this like triangle, and it's very sciencey. I can't probably explain this the best because there's a lot of science equations and stuff in this movie. But what they do is they basically create a black hole portal. And what they do is they trap him in this like triangle on the ground with this portal next to the triangle. They pull the lever and Galactus gets sucked into the hole, into a black hole portal. Apparently, according to Reed Richards, he'll be stuck there for 1,000 years because without no ship, which again, he uses a ship to get to their planet. Without a ship, he is basically stuck in this black hole. So that's why I said earlier in this video, I hope we see more Galactus soon. I hope this is not just a one-off for him. That would be a real bad look on Marvel. Of course, Galactus is a really big, like, Avengers level threat, or an X-Men level threat, I guess is the best way to put it now, with the X-Men actually being the next focus for the MCU. But I hope we see more Galactus. There is a ton more for him to do, I think, in the MCU. So I hope that they do that. If they don't, that's actually a big screw up in my opinion. But in the fight scene, Sue Storm actually dies. She actually dies. And they put Galactus back in the portal. They all go to her. She's on the ground just like dead, right? They're trying to revive her. They can't revive her. They put Franklin Richards. Of course, they saved the baby because that's why Galactus was there, to get the baby. They save Franklin Richards. They put Franklin on her dead body like this. She gets revived. Franklin revived his mother, Invisible Woman. And that is how the movie basically ends. That's how the movie ends. Post-credit scene. This is where things get interesting. Post-credit scene. 4-year jump. So 4 years later, Franklin is now a almost 5-year-old, because this movie takes place like through a couple months actually. This movie takes place, it starts at Halloween and ends towards Christmas. So Franklin is like about 4.5 years old at the time of this post-credit scene. He's reading a book with his mom. They're sitting on the couch in the Baxter building. She goes up to get another book. She comes back. Dr. Doom! That is right, Dr. Doom shows up. Looks Franklin in the eyes. Mask off. Now, let me tell you how he's posed in this end credit scene, because no, we did not see Robert Downey Jr. I know that's going to be a question people have. No, we did not see Robert Downey Jr. How Doom was faced in the end credit scene, hood up, so the green hood was up, his back was turned to the camera, he had his mask in his hand. Now, why did he have his mask in his hand? Well, Franklin can actually heal people, like we saw in the ending of the movie. He brought his mother back to life. There is a rumor going around right now about Doomsday that Dr. Doom's face is going to be deformed. So somehow, some way, he knew about Franklin and what he can do. And I'm assuming he went to Franklin to try to fix his face, his deformed face, which I think is going to happen. Now, where does this lead to Doomsday? Because at the end of the end credit scene, where we see Dr. Doom, mask in hand, hood up, Sue looks like this. That's what she looks like on the screen. That's how it ends. And it says, the Fantastic Four will return in Avengers Doomsday. And that is how it ends. That is how the film ends. Now, why is this important? Because we now know what the plot point of Avengers Doomsday is going to be. Or at least a subplot point. A plot point of Doomsday is Dr. Doom's going to take Franklin Richards. Dr. Doom is going to take Franklin Richards, and guess where he's taking him? To the MCU Earth. And guess what? Remember the Thunderbolts end credit scene? How the Fantastic Four arrive in the MCU Earth? Guess where it picks up. That, my friends, is how Avengers Doomsday is going to start. Avengers Doomsday is going to start by Dr. Doom taking Franklin Richards. Taking him to the MCU Earth, hence the arrival of the Fantastic Four in the MCU Earth. How do they get there? I have no idea. Mr. Fantastic, Reed Richards, is the smartest person in the MCU. He'll figure out a way to travel through time. He'll figure it out. I'm sure he will. And that's where it ends off. Man, oh man, I cannot wait till December 2026, Avengers Doomsday. I can't wait. Of course, the next MCU movie, Spider-Man Brand New Day, July 26, 2026. We'll see what happens there. Doesn't relate to Doomsday at all. I have no idea, but I'm excited. So either way, guys, that is it. That is my review of the Fantastic Four First Steps. Out of 10, I'm going to give it a 9. Only reason I'm giving it a 9 is because I think they could have gave the Thing some more things to do in the film. He was kind of like the odd man out. He was just like there for his brute strength, basically, and nothing else, which sucks because he's a fan favorite to a lot of people. But I get it, you know, the plot, they all tried to work together. Like, it was a family film, obviously. They all tried to work together to stop Galactus and the Silver Surfer from taking Franklin, and they did do that. They did succeed in that, of course, and that was their true objective of the film. And they did it, and I cannot wait to see what happens in Avengers Doomsday, because that's exactly where it's going to pick up. So either way, guys, that is it. That is my spoiler review of the Fantastic Four First Steps in theaters now. Let me know what you think of the film, and I'll see you guys in the next one.